My name is Eunicia Rodriguez. I'm from the Philippines. I was named after my grandmother, and Eunicia was like an old name even in the Philippines. I came to the United States, to Los Angeles in 1971, just before the Silmar earthquake. I was here for the Silmar earthquake. So I started working in this company, and for some reason, they could not pronounce the Eunicia. So they started calling me Dionysia, and for short, they called me Di. The time I left the Philippines in 71, we were going through, I am really afraid, going through what America is going through now. Marcos became a dictator.
Elimination of anarchy and the maintenance of peace and order.
And before he declared martial law, and I had a feeling that the violence, the insurrection, I was involved in the company strike before I left the company to come here, were all incited by his group to make us afraid, to make the Filipinos afraid. They will need a savior. They will need somebody to lead them. And that's why he said, to stop all this, I will declare martial law. And actually, I think he meant I will be the president of the Philippines forever. That was one of the reasons. And the big reason, really, is the fact that we want a better life. America, somebody said it, America is not a place. It is hope. It's a dream. The year I came was called the brain drain in the Philippines. Our biggest export was Filipino professionals. All my college friends, all my high school friends, I would say 98% of them are here. So we would hold reunions here in the United States rather than in the Philippines because most of us are here. So I applied for immigration at the whim, like it was a whim. All my friends were applying, so why will I not apply? And I was very blessed. In a couple of months upon arriving, I was able to get a job, a technical job for a non-white female. That was to me a very big blessing. Back in the 30s, my Uncle Bunny, my first landlord, was among the first migrant workers taken from the Philippines by plant farmers, big farming corporations. That's why they all settled in the Delano, and they were part of the big Cesar Chavez March. Most of them were laborers. My Uncle Bunny worked at a cannery, salmon cannery in Alaska. It just got too cold for him, and he has some relatives here. That's why he came to Los Angeles. Many of them would work at restaurants as chefs. And I'll never forget my Uncle Bunny when he started meeting all my friends from school. My Uncle Bunny said, I am really so proud of you because unlike us, we were just laborers. We just worked with our hands. But you had all the qualifications, you had all the training, and you can make a name for our country. I came at the same time as my sister and my older sister and her 3 sons. And we stayed in historic Filipino town on Temple Street and Court Street. Then in 1976, we became American citizens. First thing my sister did was to petition for my parents. So now we need a bigger place to stay. And my brother-in-law was working in North Atwater in a company that made flavors like vanilla, the thing for root beer. And he met a young man there whose mother is a real estate agent. And my brother-in-law was looking for a place. That place at 3922 Legion Lane was available. It was a duplex. So when my parents came, we tore the wall between the two duplexes so I can go in and out of my place and my sister's place without having to go out, and it was very convenient for my parents. So I've been working, had a good job, and my sister said, you know what, and they call me Nini, my family and friends call me Nini. You know what, Nini, you have made quite a bit of money, and you really have nothing to show for it, except brag about the places you've been to, the clothes that you have, the shoes that you bought. And she said, why don't we look for a place here in Atwater Village? She did not want my parents far from her. And so, luck would have it, I looked at the place on Laclede. I was ready to buy it. The loan fell through. I was heartbroken, but God has His ways. My father never learned how to drive, so they'll have to depend on public transportation. So God gave me this place, which is a block away from Glendale Boulevard, where my parents are free to go anywhere on the bus. So we were initially in Legion Lane, then we moved when I bought this house in '87. So I've lived in this house since 1987 with my parents. I came in '71 with a degree in chemistry. And it was difficult to get a job, technical job in the city of Los Angeles. But I was blessed that I found a job with Frank Davis Company. It was a small pigment dispersion and blending company that serviced the construction and the paint industry. I was the only Filipina. And maybe that's the other reason why my English is better than the average Filipino. They did not see me as a Filipina, as someone different. As a matter of fact, they taught me to make menudo, caldo de res, eat tamales, eat burritos. And I taught them to eat pancit, to eat lumpia. And it's funny, Pete, my very good friend, we worked together in the lab. He would take the pancit and wrap it in a burrito. So when I started working, I was working in Boyle Heights. Most of the plant was all undocumented workers. And I was this high and mighty immigrant. I said, I hate those illegal immigrants. I went through the process. I paid money. I did this. And they didn't do anything. They are just here. And they're enjoying everything I'm enjoying. So one afternoon, the president of the company and my direct boss, Mr. Sam Harris, called me in. I thought I was in for something I made a boo-boo on. And he said, well, Di, I hear that you have very negative look at the undocumented immigrants. And he asked me why I came to the United States, how I got here. And then he said, see, you and them, you all came here for a better life. You are just more blessed than they are to have all those qualifications to get here legally. So he told me, why don't we just be thankful for the blessings that we have and give those who were not so blessed a chance, or at least give them a space. Don't be so hard on them, is what he told me. And I have carried that thought in my mind. By the way, Mr. Sam Harris is an Orthodox Jew. So when I told my sister about that conversation, her comment was, for a Jew, he's a very good Christian. I never had a child of my own. I'm a childish cat lady. But I really take pleasure with the kids. And I took every other Monday off as my flex day, so I volunteered. And I was set up with a young boy named Eduardo, who lived in North Atwater. So every other Monday I would come, I would pick him up just before the class ends, and we'd go to the library. At first I felt that he was kind of uneasy to go with me, but at that time you go to the 99 store, buy erasers and pencils. So the next time, maybe about after 3 meetings, the teacher called me aside and said, "Miss Dai, all the kids now want to be like Eduardo. How come Eduardo is getting all this special treatment?" So one afternoon, I kept Eduardo a little too long, and I met his aunt who came to pick him up. And she said, "Oh, so you're Miss Dai. Eduardo could not stop talking about you." And the teacher said that because of those, I think I gave him confidence. Because after meeting with me, he became more involved in his schoolwork. He participated in the classroom more. So that's one of the things that my involvement with Atwater Village Neighborhood Council really affected me. I felt like I've touched a life. I had the most fun doing volunteer work with in the neighborhood council and doing any volunteer work. I don't know what it is about me, but even before my involvement with the neighborhood council, I have made myself involved in political campaigns. It started because the secretary at Davis is a very strong Democrat. And when Tom Bradley was running for mayor, she put me in a phone bank to call people to vote for Tom Bradley. That's how my involvement started. So when the opportunity came to be in the council, I really jumped on it. And I think you were just reminding me recently that on one of our cleanup activities, I was wearing a t-shirt that said, "Stop me before I volunteer again." There are many residents in Atwater Village now that are Filipinos. Holy Trinity is really a Filipino church. Maybe we could say that most of the Filipinos settled in Northeast LA, meaning Atwater Village, Eagle Rock, Glassell Park, and some parts of Glendale. That's why they were saying that Holy Family is now a Filipino church. And we've called Father Jim as our wannabe Filipino priest. The Filipino businesses, the restaurants, the markets in Northeast LA, there are many Filipino markets and Filipino restaurants. When we started in 1971, there were very few little Filipino stores, and all they sold was bagoong, the fermented shrimp paste that smells awful to you guys, but to me it smells great. The dried fish, they were all gone now. They were taken over by Seafood City, which is a very big, and they're all over the country, I think. The little entrepreneurs at the time are gone. And this is usual. I mean, it's always taken over by big corporations. Like the little Filipino stores and the little, we call them turo-turo. It's when the food is displayed and then you just point, "I want that, I want that." That's why it's turo is to point. And I think now ube is being acknowledged in many different places. I was at a Tea Leaf and Company coffee shop the other day, and they have a drink with ube in it.
Well, thank you so much, Di. Gosh,
Thank you. It gave me a time to really reflect on my life, on the many years that I've been here,
positive things.
and the positive things of what the world, specifically Atwater Village, have given to me. It has given me the opportunity to grow. Not only, well, I never grew in height. If anything, I'm slowly getting shorter. But my spiritual and my civic life, and just being a kind person,
Being part of the community.
being part of the community, having done some little positive things for the community. I wish I could still say, stop me before I volunteer again.
That's probably not going to happen.
Not gonna happen,
No,
not in
she's
this
gonna
time. So I had an incident late February. I fell, and that's why I have a cane now. And I couldn't get up. So I ended up at Glendale Memorial Hospital for 2 weeks for rehab, and I'm still going through in-home rehab therapy, physical therapy. And so at that time, I was in contact with Father Jim, and he told me, you will get well because you have more lives to touch. And I thought that was the best blessing I've ever received. They said that the things in your life that matter are not the big events, but it's those little moments that really take your breath away.